Should we jump channels?
Oh, this is fine. I don't think it matters too much. All right, fantastic. So I guess I'll do a bit of a recap again because it's been quite a while. I'll kind of cover a bunch of stuff that we've done lately, especially for Kiwi, who's been away. So I guess the big main thing that happened initially was the trip to bring the girl Leah to Valmiriel. She was being contracted to do a job for the Ravens in Valmiriel, and so you were kind of hired to bring her there safely. Along the way, you found the Fine Gold Caravan crew who had been captured by the lady who has been dogging your steps for a while. Harland was killed by her, and you went in and were able to rescue the group, killing the woman in the process. Travelled onwards, arrived at Valmiriel, and checked into a tavern called the River's Watch. There was a note that was fired into your room with an arrow that said something along the lines of, "Tomorrow night, midnight, meet at Muriel's Rest," which is the big royal graveyard beside the keep. The girl Leah, she was taken by one of the ravens, Gideon, I believe, and Erendor gave her the dagger of warning as she left. Gemma had spoken around the town, spoken to a few of her contacts, and informed Valoran, who had asked a few questions, that this person, that he was called Corvas, or someone someone known by that name, was the head of the Imperial garrison in Valnoran. What else? You explored the city.
Did we get that information? I don't recall getting that.
I don't remember that.
I think you may have just spoiled yourself, Ruth.
No way.
We did not get that information.
Oh, there you go.
He was going to get the information.
We went shopping.
I wrote it in my notes though, that we'd talked about it.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh well, there you go. We'll see. That'll come up apparently tonight. Oh well, good memes. You explored the city apparently, and that didn't happen. You went to a fine weapons store, and you also went to the Green Griffin Guild, picked up a job for the investigating the gold mine. And I believe that the guild was going to arrange a meeting with the benefactor because you wanted some more information. Scouted Muriel's Rest, the graveyard, had a quick look around. I think one of you grabbed a dice or something from a grave. Kai went off by himself, visited the High Sept, and spoke with the High Priest Oldir. In this meeting, he shocked the priest by revealing his starry form, and upon recovering from his near seizure, the priest explained the disparity between the gods that Kai was seeing in his visions compared to the supposed god of the moon from the Seven. I.e., the Seven are not actually real gods. They were just champions from a time ages past and long forgotten. And then on your way back through the market to meet back up again at the tavern, you got sprayed with glittery dust or something, and you all had a big tripping session where you fought monsters and some of you died. Yeah.
Wait, what?
I don't
We
know.
all died before I got new character sheets, except
Yeah.
you.
True.
Mm-hmm.
There was essentially the
like
justification for
shopping and pizza's new party.
yeah, there was essentially justification for having the one shot where you fought a bunch of monsters. I don't know if we want to consider it canon or not, but there you go. So we can pick up there, coming through the market if you like. I guess the guys kind of look at you. One of them draws their swords and just says like, "Back off! Don't tell anyone about this. You saw nothing," or something along those lines. And they menacingly try to usher you along. As you guys are sort of like blearily wiping your eyes and coming conscious again. Anything you want to do, or we're just gonna keep on going?
So we're covered in like some drug dust, are we?
Something like that, yeah.
I guess I open my eyes. I'm like spluttering. I look up at the sun and go, "How long has it been? How long were we out for?"
They kind of just look at you and like, it's just a few seconds.
Well then,
They look very shifty and shady, and they clearly want you to move on. Don't tell anyone about it. Probably this is illicit.
I look around. Who's on the ground around me? Is everyone up?
Yeah, now everyone's kind of standing up, like looking a bit shaky.
All right, I get in defensive. What's it called? Formation, and try and gather everyone together, back away from these shifty people.
Cool. All right, we can slide on past. So easy enough. Heading on back through the market. At this point, it's kind of evening, heading towards evening. Sun's just starting to set, and you can get back to the River's Watch. And as you enter in, you see the familiar interior that you've come to know now after being here for a day or two. You can see Lila, who's dancing around, tending to the tables, and she is just coming back from one table in the middle of the room after delivering a large mug of ale to your dwarf companion Donda, who is sitting down having a drink.
Hey, boys.
Hey Donda, how's it going?
Good maid. How are you doing?
I
You
think
look
I
shaky.
need a drink. I think we just passed out for a second, and we've been exposed to some foreign drug or something. I'm not too sure. Are we all? We're still like covered in like some sort of flour, right?
I think it probably wasn't like dense enough to, land on your clothing and actually look very perceptible. It was more of like a cloud of dusty gaseous stuff that you breathed in.
Donda decides to ignore that. Come, have a drink.
All right, I plonk myself down next to Donda, and you go. You find anything you were looking for today when you were out shopping?
Strangely, no. I'm sure something will come to me.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Are there any other sort of stories or anything? Like what do you imagine Donda got up to, Kiwi, during the day?
How long has it been?
It was just today. You would have gone off by yourself in the morning.
Oh. Yeah, I was probably being the good wizard, going to all the places that JC had robbed and compensating the owners.
I haven't robbed anyone in this town.
We
Not that you told us.
didn't see anything.
I haven't done shit in this town.
Yet.
Also, who's this JC bloke?
Rio. That dodgy Rio. Preemptive apologizing then. and on the lookout for a familiar.
All right. So at this point, why don't we say that Valoran, you see Gemma off to the side, sitting with a couple of other people from the group, and she motions for you over to come and have a chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, and she comes over and just essentially says, yeah, I asked around town a bit, spoke with a few contacts, and it turns out that this Corvus, there's a person that goes by that name who was the head of the Imperial garrison at Valnoran. I'm sure you're shocked to hear that for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, didn't someone call Valorant Corvus ages ago?
That's why I was
Yeah.
asking about the name.
All right.
Yeah.
That is
That's-
quite shocking.
I do remember something about that. Maybe it was mentioned.
Yeah, so she
Wasn't
says...
it the red hand at the bridge
I
assault?
said the name and the mentor, but nothing about Norin. That's new info.
Yeah, the guy basically just called him that. He seemed to recognize him. She says he hasn't been seen for a handful of months, apparently. Couldn't get any information about where it left or gone to, but that's the word on the street. He's missing in action. Any reason why you're asking about him?
Just a name that came up.
Any more specifics so I could try and narrow things down a bit?
Probably how he went disappeared, if any information on that. What sort of commander was he?
I didn't get too many details. I've got one more person I can try and track down tomorrow who might know more. So I'll let you know if I have any luck there.
Let's see what we can do to flesh it out, but play it safe.
All right. As in, we should be concerned that we don't want anyone to hear about this and it getting back to us.
We heard the name from a red hand, which should probably tell you everything you need to know about playing it safe.
All right. I'll keep that in mind. Well, you guys settling in all right? Anything interesting happen in town?
Not too much. Everything is spaced out quite far apart, but otherwise it's a pretty nice place. Yeah.
Yeah, we like it. We like it. All right. Well, I'm sorry about spoiling that shit in the intro. That is super wacky. I don't know how that happened.
That's alright.
Because that was... I have like a post-session notes, and that was written in the notes. I was like, oh, I must have I must have said it apparently in the thing. So there you go. Weird. Anyway, all good. As you guys are sitting around the table, having drinks, catching up with Dondar, you see old fella sitting up at the bar, who's just been having sort of polite conversation with Lila. He gets up from one of the stools and starts wandering over in your direction towards the table. It's like quite hunched over, leaning heavily on a cane. It's got a black hat, sort of like jaunty, worn at an angle, and there's like deep grey wool and like a scarf around his neck. He looks like he's quite bundled up. And he sits down at the table and just starts up a conversation as if he'd been here the whole time. He's like, oh, I don't think I've been in this tavern for about 20 years. The ale is just as good as it used to be, though. Well, the new maidens are delightful, though, aren't they? He just looks around and he's smiling. Up close, you can see he looks ancient, like late 90s, maybe even 100. He's got like a scar on his neck, and you can see from his hands also a bit scratched up. Yeah.
Is there dirt underneath his fingernails?
No, it doesn't seem to be. Pretty clean hands. He's just making small talk. So what are you guys
They're
drinking?
maidens.
What'd you say about the maidens?
They are fair.
Oh, yes. Beautiful young things. Much too young for me, though. Well, what are you guys up to tonight?
Out to have dinner. Just catching up with mates. But yeah, I go. Who wants some food?
Dondar lets out a long burp, followed by, "Food here!"
All right, I get up. I go up to the bar to get some food to share.
Cool.
I look towards the old fella. I go, "You want anything?"
Oh yes, anything you've got, I'm happy.
All right. Cool.
If you want to cross off like 5 silver per person for food.
Sure. I
So-
like to when I go to the bar and collect the food, I like to like sprinkle, like I like to do put some of that poison mushroom I picked up and put it in his food.
All right. When are you going to do that? Because like
at the bar.
they'll bring the food to the table. They won't like give it to you at the bar. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well then, actually, I'll put in his drink. I'll try and like crush it and put into his drink. I'll buy another ale or something.
All right. Roll a sleight of hand check for me. And remind me again which mushroom this is.
Well, it's that poison one that I picked up in the ghost cave. Well, not the banshee cave.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sleight of hand.
Mm-hmm. So
Oh, that's decent.
yeah, it's not too bad. I believe you're exhausted at the moment, which means
Oh, how does that work?
you have disadvantage on ability checks, so please roll it again.
Or I will roll again.
Oh, no way.
Yeah!
Oh, gosh. All right. 16. Let me roll it. Oh, shit. Where did my dice go? 1 second.
Wait, how much silver am I ticking off again? Five per person. So like 30 silver.
Where did my dice
We
go?
all taking off 5 gold or just
No, it's me. I'm shouting you guys food.
5 silver per person.
So 30 silver. Okay.
Yeah, my dice are all gone. That's disappointing. All right, cool. No one seems to notice as you crush up a mushroom in your hand or something and sprinkle it into the drink, so you can bring it back to the table. Yeah.
Yeah, I hand over the drink with a smile to Old Mango. Here you go, on the house.
Oh, thank you, young lad. Thank you, young lad. Oh, I don't know if I need to drink this whole thing. I've already had a little bit and it'll put me straight to sleep, but I appreciate the gesture. And he reaches for it and starts picking it up and just swirling it around a bit. So, unless there's any sort of other...
Dondar looks at him and says, "That looks nice.
What you were referring to?
Your drink. It looks nice."
He looks at it, looks up at you. Yeah, I suppose so. Like I said, ale here is some of the best in the city.
Do you come here often?
No. The last time I was here was about 20 years ago.
20 years? That
Yeah.
must be pre-Empire, surely.
No. What do you mean pre-Empire? Empire's been around for what? What's it been? Oh, gotta be about 100 years by now, right?
My god, how time flies.
You're telling me. Look at this. Reaches up and touches the wrinkles on his face. So as these like sort of conversations carry on pretty surface level, he seems pretty jovial, pretty happy. He does pick up the drink to drink it at one point, and then sort of puts it down and starts talking about something else. Sort of like, you know, a new conversation point makes them sort of, you know, lose focus. And then at one point in the conversation, you can see he pulls out like a little cube. It was like a little wooden puzzle cube or something like that, and he just sort of absentmindedly starts sort of playing with it. shifting a few pieces around. It essentially looks like a Rubik's Cube, something like that. And after a few moments, he throws it directly, Erendor, at your face. What do you do?
First, I forget that I've got Discord on a different device than the machine, so I start talking and no one hears me. And then, most likely, I'm probably not paying attention to him, so it probably just hits me.
Would you like to roll a dexterity saving throw or something?
Why not?
Unless you really just think Erendor would just like take it.
You got elf eyes, man. Would you see it? Would he notice it being thrown at him?
It's up to Erendor, I guess.
I don't think I would have been focusing on him, so I think I will opt to roll with disadvantage on it.
All right.
I was going to say, if I'm sitting within 5 feet, and I counter that with protection fighting style.
It would you'll be able to give like a couple AC, right?
It's disadvantage on the attack if I'm wielding a shield, so I probably don't have my shield out.
All right.
Oh, good.
So you take 8 damage
Wait, what?
as it just
You
like
say-
smashes into the side of your face.
Oh, I thought you said 8 damage. I'm like, holy shit, that's a strong die.
No, sorry, and the singular damage.
Oh, okay.
And
I
then
heard 8 as well.
Yeah, and he just leans forward, puts his shoulders, his elbows onto the table, and just looks intently at you, Erendor. His eyes sort of squint a little bit. What do you do?
Ooh.
I'm going to pick up this cube puzzle thing, and I would like to investigate it.
Okay, roll investigation. So yeah, it's a puzzle cube as far as you can tell. It's got like different symbols on each of the cubes, and it seems that you can start twist different faces of them to try and get the symbols to align. As you're investigating it, the man who is leaning forward intently now, a lot of the kind of happy-go-lucky expression has kind of dropped him, and he's just kind of staring at you. And he says, disappointed, young man.
Does he look familiar?
Roll a perception check. Or something else. History, investigation, or something. There is definitely something familiar about him. You can't quite place it, though, now that you're kind of looking a bit closer. And he's kind of like leaning forward, staring at you. But you can't place it. And then he says, very disappointing indeed. I didn't spend all those years training you just so you could get smacked in the face by some old man in a tavern. What are you thinking about, boy?
What I'm thinking is that I again forgot my Discord on a different machine. Oh my god, you could do better than this. And then I tap the screen and the button disappears. Damn.
Thunder whispers to Kai, "Why is Erendor mumbling?"
I don't know. Must be some sort of elf thing, maybe. I don't know.
Some
20.
message out of
20 years, did you say?
Something like that, wasn't it? Maybe longer.
yeah, I think it's been 20 years since you've been there. I've been to that inn.
every time Kai mentions Alpha, he just gets glared at by Ryu.
So it's not my fault Erendor's got some pointy ears, or slightly pointy ears.
Yarrick?
Oh, sorry. Did you say? Was that you, Death Mouse?
Yes.
When you say this, his face breaks, and he starts smiling again. I see you haven't lost all of your wits. And he stands
You've
up,
gotten old.
moves around the table, and opens his arms to give you a hug.
And I stand and embrace him.
He is old. He's got to be 100 or more, maybe. You know, like he's like leaning heavily on a cane. His eyes and like face are heavily lined. And as he pulls away from the embrace, he kind of looks up at you now as you're much taller, and just sort of like reaches out, touches your shoulder, side of your face. Gosh, you haven't aged that much. Would have expected you to look a bit older, but I guess your mother's blood is apparently beating mine when it comes to you.
I never expected to see you again. I got word not long ago that you were still around, and how did you get out?
Aye, same for you. I have to say that I spent. You know what? Do you want to walk? Should we walk outside and we can talk about it? It's a bit cooped up in here.
Of course, let's go.
He offers
I'm
his
gonna
arm.
eat your food.
Does he take his drink with him?
He does not.
All right. Well, when he leaves, I would like to ritual cast purify food and drink on the cut on his nail,
Yeah.
and then shape water and add some ice cubes to it.
Okay, fair enough. He offers you his arm, Erendor, as you start heading out. And you can make your way out of the tavern. If anyone at the table who, I guess, feels like they would have been paying attention, please roll a perception check for me.
Who are or who are not paying attention?
If you think anyone who thinks that they would be,
What, to notice them leaving?
to notice something else. All right. Let's say Dondar and Valoran, as the two head out of the store, the tavern rather. You notice there's another man who was very, very like sort of nondescriptly sitting in the corner of the room, not eating or drinking anything, just sitting there. Black cloak, hood up. He stands up and slowly follows them out of the room, at a distance. Maybe heads out 30 seconds, a minute after them.
I'll step out after him.
All right. Are you gonna?
I'll go with Valoran.
Cool. Okay. So, Erendor and Jarek head on out and down. He sort of like leads you towards the side of the river. And yeah. For Valoran and Rio who are following, you see the man is following along behind them. He's not looking like he's trying to be stealthy. He's just sort of keeping a distance, maybe 100 or so feet back, just wandering along, hands in his pockets. Are you guys also going to be following, and are you going to be doing it stealthily?
I'm not going to follow stealthily. I will be obviously following, but I'm not going to be right behind.
Yeah. Cool.
Hunter's mark on the bloke.
All right. Does he need to make a save or something if he detects it, or does he
Nope.
not detect it?
It is
don't think so.
verbal, so
Yeah, but we're like 80, 90 foot back, aren't we?
Yeah, you can probably be far enough back. That's all right. All right, cool. So you sit down, find a bench near the river, and Eric he sits there quietly for a moment and says, "Gosh, many years ago, on the night of that heist, I'm sure you remember, we got separated. I got captured. It was foolish, of course. They interrogated me for, feels like days. But I can proudly say that I didn't actually give them any information. Weeks later, I was able to escape, pickpocketed a key from a foolish guard who wasn't looking, and when I got back to the nest, they said that you also hadn't returned. I feared the worst, and I went looking. I couldn't find any sign of what happened to you. The bodies of Yarna and Ilta, I'm sure you remember them. They were, they had been killed and left behind. But you? Nothing. I looked for months, years. I watched garrisons to see if you were being held. I asked other nests to see if they had heard anything, but there's nothing. Years went by, and I guess I presumed that you were dead. I always kept my ears and my eyes open, but I started losing all hope. The two most important people in my life were gone now. At this point, he starts coughing quite heavily, and pulls up like a handkerchief to cover his mouth while he's coughing. Erendor, do you want to roll a perception check for me? As he goes to put the handkerchief back into his pocket, you can see there are like drops of blood inside it. Well, eventually, I heard some rumors that people who had been, working in Val Luminor, rumors that some elves had been seen being taken captive into the dungeons beneath the capital city itself. This gave me some hope. Maybe Erineth had been taken there. I always wanted to try and plan a heist, but the Ravens, they considered it too risky after the expulsion from the capital city. A few decades earlier, very reluctant to go there and do any work. Risk of members being captured, a breach into the security. Yeah, years went by. I became too old to do it myself, and now I guess it's the only thing that's really driving me. I need to know. I need to know if she's there. But that's me. What about you? Where were you all these years?
That's more information about Erineth than I've ever gotten. Have you heard anything further about the elves that were held there?
It's difficult to get information, Val Luminor. The city was cleansed entirely of ravens. The eyes of the Empire, they wiped out the nest there, and those few that were able to escape, well, the horrors they tell makes anyone else reluctant to try and do any sort of operation there, but I don't know. It's a lot to ask, but seeing you again, it's giving me hope.
If there's any time to do it, it's now. Rebellion is building. Action is happening. There's been organized attacks. I don't know if you've received word of them yet.
I've heard things. We've got many eyes out. Certainly things are heating up all over the place. Some nasty business apparently down south. You didn't know anything about that?
Not a thing at all.
He gives you a bit of a knowing look, maybe, or are you trying to deceive him? Would you like to roll a deception check?
I am not trying to deceive him.
He chuckles heartily. Oh, my boy. Well, it's giving me a bit more pride. That's a beautiful evening, isn't it? It's getting cold, though. He pulls his coat around him a bit more. We'll go quickly to Valoran and Rio. What are you guys up to?
This guy that's following them, he's obviously not trying to be stealthy about his following, is he?
Nah, he's standing a wee way up the road from them, just sort of like leaning against the wall.
Yeah, I take him. He's just a guard for the old man. I'll probably just move up to a similar position with him. Just nod to him.
Yeah, you come up beside him, and he does. He looks at you and nods. He seems to recognize you. I'm sure that your group is probably known-ish.
I'll just sort of hold position with him and start scanning.
Mm-hmm.
He's scanning, I'm scanning.
Yeah. Well, unless there's anything else, Erendor, you wanted to chat about, the old man will start getting ready to get up and move on.
How are your ties with the local raven nest?
Oh, I guess I live there. Too old to get out and do anything these days, but they take care of me. Yeah. I guess once you become a raven, you never really leave them.
As it should be. You've done enough to help them over the years. I'm glad that they're looking after you.
Yeah. No, they're up to some. They've got some good operations in the work at the moment. I try to help out where I can, give advice and the like, but mostly I just try to stay out of their way. That
Have you heard of operation occurring either now or very soon involving a young girl?
Yeah, I was going to mention actually. I believe that she came in with you. Leah, her name was, right?
That's it, yes.
I don't know all the details, but I believe they're trying to infiltrate the Bastion itself here in Valmiriel. Something to do with trying to get some dirt on General Varna. Don't know all the details, but it sounded like they needed an infiltration specialist, someone who can get into small, tight places.
I have faith in the girl. She'll do well by them.
That's good. It's starting to get cold. Should we head back inside?
Of course. Let's get you inside.
All right. You can head on in. The group kind of meets up, and you can all wander back and come to the table where the rest of you are finishing off your meals. And they don't sit down, Jarek and the other man. They just kind of stand there and nod, say farewell, and start to head out. And as they're on their way out, Jarek comes back and just places his hand on your shoulder, Kai, and says, I don't know what you were trying, but it's very foolish to try and spike any sort of food of a raven. If I wasn't such a kindly old man, well, let's just say things might have gone very differently for you. So I recommend in the future, be a bit smarter. And he heads off.
I smirk. I go, noted.
Dumbledore laughs out loud.
All right. Anything else you guys want to do in the evening?
We've got the graveyard meeting on tonight, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you just wanted to chill until then, or?
Yeah, check gear, rest up.
Yeah, go back to our rooms and have a rest.
Everyone their inspiring leader HP by making sure everyone's spells in order.
Try and recover your exhaustion.
Yeah.
You need
Wait,
a
is
long
it-
rest for that.
I need a long rest, right?
Rest, yeah.
But at least if I take a short rest, I can get my, what's it called, my wild shape back.
The one you burned at the cathedral.
Yep.
Yeah, fair enough. Cool, yeah, easy. I mean, it's probably still mid-evening at this point, so you can burn off a short rest. Great.
And everyone has 9 temporary hit points.
Oh, annoying.
Ooh.
Cool. So you can head out of the tavern after making some preparations, getting bundled up with your gear, putting on some warm clothes, as it is now very cold, and now that we're sort of midwinter. You can head up through the city. The marketplace is much more quiet now. Most of the stalls are closed, very few torches are lit. The odd straggler is still sort of packing up boxes and stuff like that, but yeah, not too many people around. And you can head over Valina's Bridge to the other side of the river and make your way up the Royal Way. Now, how do you intend to get there?
Can we stop before we get there for a
Yeah.
moment to discuss?
Yeah,
Like,
tell me.
what's going on? Where are we going?
So the Muriel's Rest is the graveyard on the riverside of the keep. And yeah, the message that you received said to meet there tonight at midnight.
All right. I pause our team. I look at Valerian, Erendor, and Dondar. Just give me a moment. Let me cast aid. So I cast aid at second level? No.
You're
Third
not
le-
planning to
third-
poison anyone else.
No, aid. No. So I cast aid at third level.
All right.
So your hit points will increase by 10. Dondar,
you can do
Erendor, and 3 people.
3 creatures. Can you upcast it?
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. So it doesn't increase the number of people you can do it on, it just increases
No.
the hit points. Yeah.
Yep. So Dondar, Erendor, and Valerian, you gain 10 additional hit points. Not temporary, but additional hit points for
Yeah, your
the
maximum.
next 8 hours.
So they're not temporary hit points, but they are temporary hit points.
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
Mhm.
It's a bit of a different. It's like, so you can heal these. If you were to take damage, you can heal back up to it. Yeah.
You're
Don't know if there's a good way to adjust that. So.
Nah.
Yeah.
Just remember it. And the master is also on D&D Beyond, so we can adjust it back to that.
Top left corner of the character sheet, you can change to edit mode, and you can override the maximum hit points temporarily. Like, I think overall bonus will allow us to just, like, put that in for the moment.
Yeah, there's a temp max HP slot. That's nice.
Oh, would you look at that?
Which suddenly.
You got to click on the cog.
I see. Yep.
Although it didn't change anything in the main sheet. Oh, that didn't actually save.
Oh,
Yeah, once you change it, save, then close, then it updates.
Ah, there it is. Okay,
It's-
that
Put 10 in and then it adds it on. It doesn't heal us though. Does it heal? Do we get the?
We do. Our current and maximum.
Mm-hmm.
Right, there we go. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, how are we approaching?
I would like to wild shape into a cat and hang by Dondar
Okay.
and go meow.
It is guarded. There'll probably be 2 guys on the gate.
That is what you remember from earlier in the day. Yeah.
Didn't we also ask and they said it's shut during the night?
Yep.
I look around at the party and pull out the corner of the red cloak. Do we go with the old tried and tested?
How much noise do you want to make doing that? Remembering, it backed up onto the wall of the keep, didn't it?
Didn't it back up onto the river as well? Can't we just jump the wall on the riverside?
Yeah. I'll draw a little sketch for you guys. Over here.
jump, fly, swim, whatever.
So it's like Keith is here. This is the main road, and then this area here is a graveyard, and this is the river. And there's like a road that came out this way. That's sort of like into it. So the cross is where you're trying to head to.
Well, we can either knock them out, talk our way in, or sneak in.
Sneak in would be preferable, I would have thought. Can we knock them out without killing them?
Sleep would probably do it if we had sleep still.
Oh, meow.
It's probably the cleanest method.
Hmm.
Just tell me if you want me to transform back, because I can still understand English, right?
Technically, I could ask them to leave with my suggestion spell.
Does it say in the spell that they know that they've been deceived after X amount of time?
It does not.
You're talking about suggestion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically they will just perform an activity until they complete it. They are sort of compelled to do it. But I don't believe they would, like lose their memory of it or anything. So they would like be totally happy to let you through the gates. But then afterwards they'd be like, huh, we let those guys in the gates. That was weird.
Well, it lasts for 8 hours. I was more thinking, take your friend,
Go.
and go
Go
drinking
home.
in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go drinking in town.
Yeah. Although I suppose the friend probably wouldn't go.
Does it affect multiple people? I don't know.
I don't think so. You'd have to persuade him. If there are 2 sentries. I can't remember.
I'd guess it'd be 2 nighttime, maybe only 1.
Yeah, we can say you get a bit closer, and you can see up ahead of you the same gates now closed that you've been to early in the day, and there are 2 guards carrying torches. They're just standing stationary. And to the right, the wall just carries on down towards the river. The wall is like 7 to 10 feet tall, and steel spikes along the top. It's a classic graveyard sort of wall.
What do you think they'd do if we snuffed out their torches?
Probably get suspicious.
Long enough for us to sneak through? Or do we have to open the gate still?
I mean, I'm sure we've got someone who can open gates. Sneaking is not a strong point of everyone in the party. The idea of jumping a wall in the dark covered in splint mail probably not going to end well.
Yep.
How long does it take
Alright.
to take it off and put it back on?
I think it's like 10-15 minutes.
Take it off, put it in your pack, hop the wall, put it back on. I mean, we're early, aren't we? We still have time.
Yeah, we would have tried to get through earlier. I don't like the idea of taking my armor off going into unknown dangerous areas.
Are these red cloaks or just town guards?
They appear to be standard soldiers, probably higher in skill and expertise than your common city guards, but they're not hands of the Empire.
All right.
Apparently it takes
Do we
10
have
minutes.
sleep still?
Apparently it takes 10 minutes to take off the armor. 5 minutes to take off the armor and 10 minutes to put it on.
Yeah.
I can set it sleep, but I didn't get it.
Interact with the cat, and I can do it. Talk to the cat.
My personal take is we try and bluff our way in. If that doesn't work, we put him to sleep.
All right.
Permanently.
Well then, I resume my human form.
That would be a great distraction, though, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that put them at a disadvantage?
Yeah, no, but I'm the one with sleep spell. Now that I am human again, I say, yeah, I've got sleep ready.
Mike's getting a bit
Gotcha.
quiet here, guys.
Alrighty. So what have we
Yeah.
done? What's the plan?
I was like, we're going to try and bullshit our way in.
And if
I'm gonna
everything,
roll out the red cloak. I think JC's got one as well.
I don't think so.
JC doesn't need one, he can just transform.
Yeah, no red cloak in my inventory, man.
Okay, thought you had one.
No, I used disguise self last time.
Okay. Oh, I know someone else had one. Oh well, whatever.
Alright, just give me the signal. If you want me to knock them out, I'll be 90 feet away from them. Or within 90 feet.
You probably want to be close enough so that we can all get in, unless I can tell them to go away.
Alright, okay. I'm ready. Ready on your mark.
Alright, I'll strap on my most arrogant face and start marching on up.
Alright. The two guards see a large party of people approaching, and they kind of, you see them stand upright a bit more at attention, holding their torches out a bit to try and get a bit more light down the street towards where sound is coming from, and you hear them say, "Who goes there?"
I'll just keep walking on up so that they can see the colour of the cloak. They don't need names, they only need to see the...
Reveal yourselves. What are you doing here at this time of the night? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. What brings you out here?
Important Imperial business. Stuff you don't need to know about, and stuff that never happened.
Oh, you're not supposed to let anyone inside.
That's a good thing I'm not just anyone.
Who are these people with you? I don't recognize anyone.
That sounds
Information
like a question.
you don't need to know.
Mm.
I could tell you. Do you really want details?
Oh, I don't. The other one's like, "Hey, come on, just listen, just do what he says." Oh, I feel like we might need to just check with someone. Roll intimidation check.
I'll do this with the commanding presence as well. Extra D8 on this. Find it. Persuasion or intimidation? I suppose it's a +6 either way.
Yeah, you can choose. Probably intimidation. That's close to a 20 on my screen. All right.
21.
He's like, yeah, probably not necessary, right? Just between us. Look, just don't tell anyone, please.
Trust me, this never happened from both sides.
It sounds reasonable. How long do you think you're going to be in there? Do you want us to, expect you?
We'll be in and out. Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, I guess see you, or rather didn't see you. And he turns and pulls out a key and opens up the gate and swings it for you. Boy, that red cloak has been paying dividends this campaign. So the gates.
At some point, word will get around that it's a thing. That works for us because then people will start questioning red cloaks. So
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm waiting for you to burn it on us.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway.
it's the problem with giant visible badges of authority is people can just put it on.
Yeah. Especially when they're known to just slay people who get in their way. Yeah. The gates swing open with
The wonders of
rusty screech.
fascism goes both ways.
Yeah. Hey, I gave you the tools. You're using them. It's good. And you can head on into the dark. The graveyard is only lit by faint moonlight now. Most of the torches, well, all of the torches inside have been let out, and you hear the gates close again behind you with a steel slam. And you're inside. It's quiet. You don't see any people. And it's how early are you?
15 half hour.
15 minutes before midnight.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool.
Enough time to eyeball around, but not so much that we're sitting there twiddling our thumbs.
Yeah, cool. So once you're inside now, what do you want to do? What's the plan?
Dondar is full retard at the moment. Why are we here?
I have no idea, Dondar.
We got a message to meet. We're checking it out. Could be a trap. Could be something important.
Oh, this was a message from the Ravens, right?
No, this was a message from not the Ravens.
Mystery message that you received the first night you arrived in the city.
Oh, that arrow through the window, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Gotcha.
I would probably just start walking towards the center. I'll bundle up the cloak and put it away.
Okay.
Probably sneaky. Maybe want to spread out.
So we're about 15 before midnight, did you guys say?
Yep.
I uncork my decanter of endless water, but I stay near Valerian.
Alrighty. So people...
I would like to try and find a darkish spot on, like, near the wall next to the river.
Okay, cool. It's quite a big graveyard, so that'll mean you're separating a ways off from the group.
How far?
Yeah, it's probably a good few hundred feet long, I would say. Maybe even a bit longer than that. Like it's the main graveyard for the whole royal area of the city. So it's quite large. Yeah.
Okay. In that case, try and find somewhere darkish, 50, 60 foot away from
the group.
Rest of the group.
Yep.
Yep.
Of course, you're sort of spreading out. Do you want to roll stealth for me then? And while he's doing that, is there anyone else that was doing something similar?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Rio, you do the same.
So there's just the one structure type thing in this place?
They're a big ass tree.
Do you mean in terms of graveyard, like buildings?
Inside the graveyard only, yeah.
Yeah, no. So there are plenty of sort of just like headstones dotted about. Some of them are slightly larger than others. Some of them have that big concrete flat bed surrounded by steel, half height steel walls. There are a few larger buildings that are like crypts and things like that scattered about here and there as well, that some of the more wealthy or important people would be buried in. And there's even the odd building that looks like a large full-on multi-person crypt as well. So yeah, all sorts.
Any
Is there
trees?
anywhere?
There are trees. There's one big tree right in the center, and a few smaller bushes dotted around as well.
Are there any medium, like small-sized objects a dwarf could climb?
You could find a
A
crypt
line
to
of
climb
sight
up on top
over
of.
top of gravestones? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, pretty easily. You could find one that is dwarf size for you. Cool. So we've got a few people spreading out doing stealth. The rest of you, are you just sort of slowly proceeding?
Who's with me? Who's with Vale and I?
Yeah. Tell me what's going on, guys.
All right. Do I see any? Is there any torch? Do I see any light sources in this graveyard?
Roll a perception check for me.
Valoran, do you want me to hang near you, or do you want me to go find a tree as I wave my bow?
Probably somewhere sneaky in Overwatch. No idea what we're walking into here. I have suspicions, but I don't expect too much combat. There'd be much easier ways to ambush us.
The crypt closest to where Valorant's hanging around, is that, say, 10 foot high, or?
You can probably find one that's 10 feet high. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to find a crypt that's, within, say, 60 feet of Valorant and get on the top and lie down and stealth.
Yeah.
Or try to hide while lying down.
Sure. Yep. All good. You can roll a stealth check as well. Kai, as you're looking about, just wanted to double check with you. Do you really only have 3 abilities that you're proficient in? I thought you were proficient in perception.
I am.
Doesn't look like it according to your sheet.
Well, I updated my sheet. Something janky is happening.
Yeah, maybe check that against D&D Beyond or something.
Yeah, it should be perception.
Anyway, all good. We can have a look at that separately, maybe. Or maybe it's worth looking at now. It might matter.
I've got perception. I've got a +4 to perception. I thought it was actually higher than that.
+4's from your wisdom mod, which is already pretty good. I just, for some reason, I was sure that you were proficient in perception, but
yeah, I was.
Maybe you're not.
Pretty sure my passives was higher.
Yeah, your passive will be 14.
It used to be 16.
No, well, according to D&D Beyond, you're only proficient in those 3, which seems weird because most people are normally proficient in like at least 4 things. But maybe it's just the choice of backgrounds that you chose. Maybe you had a few overlapping skills. All good. Anyway, just maybe one for you to check separately after the game.
I'll check later.
Yeah, all good. Great. But Rio, you are blending in nicely, laying down on top of a crypt nearby. Kai, up ahead of you, as you see, the group has sort of been spreading out. A few people have headed off into different areas to hide. In towards sort of the center, it feels like probably the center-most part of the graveyard, close-ish to the wall of the keep itself. So imagine like the center line that runs up from the keep to the river. That's sort of like the central line, and this is like probably the largest building that you can actually see. That is, close-ish to the wall of the keep. You can see a faint bit of illuminated light in the area. The rest of the graveyard is completely darkened. There are no more torches burning. But here, up against this large building, you can see it's almost like someone's shining a torchlight against the front of the crypt.
All right. Cool. Since I'm near Valerian, I go, how's your eye holding up? Can you see anything?
I'd probably see a light in the dark.
Yeah, once it gets pointed out, you can kind of pick it out as well.
Well, when I notice that, and I'm kind of worried, I use my ability Eyes of the Night on Valerian. Is there anyone else 10 feet? Within 10 feet of me?
I'd say Erendor's probably not. Dondar is also probably not, but Rio probably is because I think he said he wanted to jump on a crypt nearby.
Well, he gets that too.
Cool. All right. So yeah, with the night vision that gets applied, you can now quite clearly see up and standing in front of this building is a single figure, quite slender in physique, fully robed with a black hood up. Although I guess it's hard to tell color when you just dark vision, but yeah, dark hood, long flowing robes, and no other features that are discernible. Just staring, unmoving, staring and standing before this large building.
Probably gesture around to people, tap my eyes, point in the direction. Well, only one way to find out. And we'll wander on up.
All right. Are you stealthing or just going to wander straight on?
Wander straight on.
Yeah.
Waiting for us.
At the sound of footsteps approaching, the figure slowly turns towards you. Are the rest of you guys going to group as well, or are you going to kind of keep into the darkness?
Have we seen them?
You would have seen the group heading towards this figure now, probably, yeah.
Okay. As long as I can see them and the figure, I'm going to stay where I am.
Okay. All right.
As we're wandering up, I turn to people with me and say, we should probably work out like a whistle or something so we can communicate without having to yell. Something to think about.
Yeah, at some stage, I think it's a bit late now.
Yep.
All right. As you get closer now, the figure's turned to watch your approach, and you can see they're holding up a lantern that's hooded, so that there's just a peak hole in the front that allows just a sort of beam of light to come out quite in a focused way. And they're not like shining directly into your face, but just sort of like in your general direction, so they can kind of see you approaching. And as you come up to them, you hear a young female voice say, I'm glad you chose to come. It's good to see you again. And the figure, she reaches up and pulls back the hood, and you see a fairly young looking woman with long blonde hair, blue eyes, faint spattering of freckles across the face, and quite a warm smile, just kind of, as she kind of looks at you. And just the three of you.
Wait, who's the third guy with me?
Or did Rio, did you not join? Or are you still on top of the building?
I was still on top of the building.
Oh, okay, all good. Just the two of you.
I'm assuming within 150, 600 feet of me.
Yeah.
Do we recognize it?
Roll a perception check.
Both of us? Or just...
Yeah, sure.
Or should I just give advantage to think?
Yeah, there is definitely something familiar about her. This was the woman that you saw when you first entered the city. There was a parade that was moving up through the Royal Way, and you saw the governor, and you also saw a young blonde girl who was in the same carriage.
Is this the daughter or something? We don't know who she was, but she had blonde hair, right?
That's right, yeah. It seems to be the same person.
When it was this close to the keep, I kind of suspected someone up top. Let me guess, you got a secret door somewhere? Or a
Wow,
passage?
you certainly haven't changed much. Straight to business, aren't you, Valoran? It's good to see you again, Kai as well. How are you going?
I'm good, but I don't know who you are.
You don't recognize me?
No,
She
I
smiles.
not currently. I got powdered by some illegal drugs recently, so my memory's kind of foggy.
She chuckles back and gives you an odd look. Oh, interesting. That. Oh, that's funny. I guess I probably did look quite different, didn't I? Does this jog your memory? She like wanders over to a nearby like grating that's around a grave area with a gate, and she slips inside and stands up against the gate, like holding on to the steel bars, and like pressing her face through, staring at you guys.
Oh, was this someone we broke out of prison way back in Dalmount?
Is this the
Wow.
dark-haired girl? That's...
Or the one we rescued from the goblins.
I'm confused. We've rescued so many maidens. It's like...
No, there was the one we broke out for the Ravens one that
Nia?
we broke out in Dalmount.
Is this Nia that we broke out from the goblins?
Or is this the
Well,
one that out of
Rio.
jail?
Rio, you are not there. But yes, I guess it does appear to be.
But if Rio can see her, and as favoured enemy, I've got advantage on remembering humanoids.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but you correct it. She looks very different. Her hair is now beautiful, straight, and clean. Before, when you knew her, her face was smeared with dirt and blood, and her hair was darkened with dirt and mud. But
Eyes glazed with the trauma of sliced ears.
that's right, yeah. But no, this is her.
Wow.
Oh wow, you clean up quite nice.
She comes back around from the gate. Well, I'm glad you chose to come. I apologize for the secrecy, but for reasons that we can discuss soon, it's imperative that no one knows that you're here.
Well, there are.
Seeing that the others have relaxed a bit, I'm going to approach.
Cool. She
I don't know if I've relaxed. I might be even more on edge.
You might be.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
Arendelle.
Hi.
Good to see you around. Are the others here? Donda and Rio?
They're around. They're keeping watch.
All right, well, I guess it's fair enough you might be a little on edge given the circumstances. I assure you I mean you no harm. There's something I wish to discuss with you, and I hope, given our history, that you might be willing to listen. Oh, and I should also say, I do apologize for leaving so abruptly, given all that you did for me, but I'm sure now, given the circumstance, you can understand why I didn't wish to go into Kamar, risk of someone recognizing me in the wrong place at the wrong time.
True. Kamar has a few little sneaky people around there.
Yes, could potentially be a bit of a political nightmare.
Instead of hanging around this dark, dingy graveyard, do you have a better place that potentially might not carry our voice?
Indeed. Why don't we get to that? Do you want to call the others and we'll head inside?
Can I see Donda and Thing with my dark vision? Do I need to do a perception check because they're hiding?
No, I think you can probably just see them because you would have seen where they went to when they went to hide, and
Don does
They'd
not
be
harm.
watching us. It's pretty easy to wave people in.
Yeah, I stick my hand up and do a circle and it's a motion to come in.
Cool. All right, the
Don
others.
comes.
Rio, arrow through the eyes. Or are you going to come join?
Hunter's mark. No.
Sorry, laughing and press the wrong push to talk. No arrow through the eyes. I'll come over.
Cool. She smiles at the both of you as you join as well. You'd spent a good most of a week, I think, traveling with this girl, so you would have had a lot of time to get to know her. But she was very careful to, I think a few of you had tried to offer her like cleaning and help and stuff, but she always refused. She always tried to keep herself as dirty as possible just to try and disguise herself. But yeah. Anyway.
Yes, I remember now.
Yeah. She turns towards this large crypt and says, my family has been buried in here for generations, as far as I'm aware and have been told. It's quite a special place. Observe. And she walks forward and places her hand on a plaque that's built directly into the stone door. And at the response to her touch, the door immediately just starts grinding as it opens. She didn't appear to press any, she didn't push or apply any pressure. It just seemed to respond to her touch. She looks over her shoulder and smiles a bit and says, shall we go in? And she wanders inside.
As we're walking in, I'll say you probably want to get a bit of oil on that if you're going for stealthy entrances.
Yeah, fair
Impressive.
enough. Difficult to oil up stone, to be fair, but I'll maybe talk to someone about it.
Try lard. Lard probably works a bit better.
I'll keep that in mind. She closes the door, and inside she opens up the lantern to provide a bit more light now, even though it's probably not necessary for most of you. And she starts leading you through this crypt. It's almost a mausoleum. The first room that you enter there are urns and sarcophaguses sort of in openings to the stone walls themselves. There are bits of trinkets and things like that scattered around. And heading on down, there's a slight sloping set of stairs that go in towards the back room, and then there is a larger room that seems to be, more ornate, maybe like more central. Along the way, that openings everywhere. There are probably dozens, if not, many dozens of people interred here. In this back room, there is a single large sarcophagus in the center of the room, and then openings all the way around on the walls as well. And once again, she steps forward and presses her hand against the top of the sarcophagus on the plaque, and the whole thing itself starts to shift over, grinding along on the stone floor, revealing a set of stairs that go down. And she pauses here, and just looks at you, kind of more seriously this time, and says, I trust you, but I also need you, and I want to be honest about that. You are anonymous. People don't know who you are, and that's very useful to me and my father. I don't want to force you into anything, so I'll give you the choice right now. You can come and hear what we have to say, or you can turn around and pick your own path. The choice is yours.
At this time, I reach into my bag and pull out the clicking candle. I click my finger.
Nice. It lights.
Dondar takes out his stool, holds it as if it were a torch.
Mission Donna, do you want me to light that for you?
Dondar looks annoyed. Just it's lit already.
Well, I think we're between jobs at the moment.
Good.
The only question I have is, if we don't like what we hear, what then?
That is a good question. I can't promise I'll know how my father would respond. To be completely honest with you, I haven't actually told him about this. So this is maybe going to be a bit of a rocky start, but I think it should be okay. He's been looking for someone to help for a while. It's just difficult because everyone close to us is potentially, contaminated. They're compromised, rather. We can't trust anyone, but I know that you all have no ties to the Empire and many reasons to hate them. Plus, no one knows who you are, so it's perfect. I think it's perfect, and I think he'll understand that. But if you wish to turn around and leave, well, I guess it depends how much we reveal before you make that choice. It's a fair question, but are you willing to take that risk?
I've had worse odds before.
Yeah.
I think the information we're not being told probably gives us more information than if you were telling us, so I'm happy to have a bit of a listen, if he's willing to talk.
Yeah. Well, that'll be the trick. He's a bit of a grumpy old man these days. I know how to get him to my side. All right, let's go then. And she leads the way downstairs. And now these stairs descend down, deep down. They must be going a few dozen feet beneath the ground, and a tunnel that carries on for 10, 15 minutes, maybe. It's quite a long tunnel. You can't even see the end of it with the lantern light, until eventually, after some time, you get to some stairs that start ascending. And you get to the door. She places her hand against it and looks back at you, just sort of nods once and then opens it, revealing a room. Why don't we take a break here? This is, I think, probably a reasonable place to stop, and we can see what happens on the other side. You can all take a drink.
That's good.
Think about what you want to say or do.
I bet we'll find Lenny inside.
He is the mastermind.
It was Lenny all along.
Yeah. All right, cool.
All right,
What do you have? Like 10 minutes?
10 or 15?
Sure.
Sweet. Alrighty, cool. Catch you guys in a sec, eh? I'm gonna make
Yeah,
a cup of
yeah.
tea or something. Sweet. Okay, so the door opens and Nia leads you in. Inside, you find the room. So stone walls, no windows, clearly still underneath the keep somewhere. There is only a single door into the room other than the one you just came through, which is on the far wall. And inside the room, up on the wall, you can see there's like a massive map that's, a few dozen feet. Maybe not a few dozen feet, but, takes up a large chunk of the wall just dedicated to a map of the continent. There are wooden closets scattered around the room along the walls. There are bookshelves. There's a big table in the center of the room with a few seats that have been spread around it. And even there are a few weapons just hanging up against one of the walls. Kind of looks like a secret planning room, something like that. The bookshelves, you can see there are like letters and books and things like that just sort of scattered around them. And yeah, Valania, she leads you in and gestures to the table for you to sit, and just kind of says, all right, well, wait here, I'll go and get my father. Hopefully it won't be too long, and hopefully he's open to the idea, but just don't touch anything. Shouldn't be too long. And she races off.
I immediately start looking over the maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try and find anything on that map that doesn't exist on ours.
Interesting point, actually. That is an interesting point. There definitely will be some stuff. All right, cool. Roll an investigation check. While I pull up the other map.
Thundar is immediately paranoid. Mysterious woman that brings us in, then disappears.
All right. So, what don't you have? Well, you can see there is Skyreach is marked on the map. There isn't actually too many other things. There are a few cities down here. So there's a city here.
You do not see the ping.
I'm
Drew an X.
I'm sketching it.
Oh yeah,
down
there
here,
you go.
yeah.
Yep.
And there's another one over here. Those are probably the two major cities that would be there. Oh, there's there's something here as well. But that one doesn't have any text on it. Yeah, I can. Why don't I? You know what? I'll just give you an updated map. I'll just actually import it next time. But yeah, so you can see there's a city. This one here is called. It's labeled.
New text.
No, I don't know about that. That one's called Killimbrindal, and this one is called the Temple of Aelonda. Don't think there's any other Imperial specific stuff necessarily.
Is there anything on the map that would indicate they know that Skyreach has fallen?
Probably not, to be honest. No.
I was looking more to see what was being tracked on it. Was there like troop icons, or was it just a general map of the continent?
Yeah. So there isn't actually anything on the map itself. But if you want to roll an investigation check to kind of have a look around the room, see if you can spot some other things, you can go for that too if you like.
If I do better this time. Nope.
Erendor, what were you looking for?
What I was primarily looking for was just literally anything Imperial that wasn't on our map. So, like, if there were small cities, small villages, camps, or anything that had been listed.
Yeah. Nah, there's no like military looking camps that have been put on there. There are probably a few like smaller towns and things like that dotted about that are. Yeah, I'm just trying to see. It's kind of difficult to compare and like pick them out, to be honest. So yeah, I don't know. I'll update the map, and then we can actually have a proper one if you wanted to like sketch some stuff in. But yeah, other than that, I guess with a 3, you don't find anything immediately in and amongst the books. Like you do find like some miscellaneous things in the bookshelves. There are like correspondence between some of the cities. Like there's the odd book that's talking about like food supplies and supply chains and stuff like that, but it's kind of taking a while to leaf through, so you can't actually get any details. Anyone else doing anything, or are people chilling?
I'd have a look around, see if there's anything that would make us suspicious, or more suspicious of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, other than what I've described, probably, I don't know if the weapons on the wall, or like, it looks like a safe room, right? Like some sort of secret planning room that they've tried to keep away. Yeah.
While they're doing that, I go to closer to the center of the room, and I do detect magic, or ritual cast detect magic.
Okay. I think they'll probably return in 10 minutes before you'd finish casting it. So you might need to do it with a slot.
All right.
The aura of magic bursts out around you. There is actually something magic in here. On the bookshelf, there's like a small chest that's latched. And there's a lot of magic coming from it.
Alright, I point out to Arendor. See that bookshelf over there? There's a magical aura coming from there. Maybe a chest of some sort.
I guess I'll have a bit of a look around and see what I can find. Can you point me in a bit more of any more specific of what I'm looking for?
I walk over and I help him. Point him closer to the direction of the chest.
Yeah,
just be careful.
I mean, the chest is just sitting there on the shelf. Like you can just see it there.
Watch out for booby traps.
And also, let's probably not rob our new allies before we get the job.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
We haven't killed them yet.
I have laid out some bait, and it is going swimmingly. Are you...
Just this chest, you say?
Yeah.
We now know that it's here.
Let's just keep...
Worst case, we take it and run, but see what happens.
We'll keep our eye on it.
Alright. 5 or so minutes later, you hear footsteps and come down the stairs. Sorry, Valerian, is there anything?
I was going to say, put everything generally back and take up a seat.
Yeah, cool. Alright, steps coming down. The door opens and you see the girl come in. And she's kind of got a measured look on her face. And behind her, a man walks in who is tall, slender, solid. Slender man, but quite solidly built. He's got brown hair that's cropped very, very neatly and tightly on the side of his head, and then styled, quite cleanly on top. Mustache, goatee, also trimmed to perfection. He's wearing comfortable evening clothes, but these clothes themselves probably wouldn't be out of place in like a court. And around his neck, you can see the big amulet with massive red ruby in the center. Looks like a man who spends a lot of time caring about his appearance. And then seeing you in the room, he immediately, like, a stern expression comes over his face, and he reaches to his side and starts to draw a dagger and says, "Valania, what is the meaning of this? Who are these people, and why have you brought them here, of all places?" And she's like, "Look, I told you I'd explain, Father. I told you that they can help us. How can you possibly trust them? I know them, Father. They saved my life. Each of them have a reason to hate the Empire just as much of us. Just listen, please hear us out. What do you mean they saved your life? At this, she immediately starts to look a little bit more shy and nervous, like she maybe let something slip she didn't mean to. Remember that hunting trip I was late coming back from? Yes. Well,
let's just say we worked together to deal with a goblin threat.
Yeah.
It was isolating Dartmouth.
Goblins? Flanny, what are you doing? Messing around with goblins. They're nasty folk. Dangerous. She, shakes her head a bit. Look, I didn't mean to. I don't know. Sometimes you just get caught up in things. Look, it's fine. We got up there all right. Young lady, we're going to talk about this later. These hunting trips of yours. Well, I can't wait for that conversation. The man turns now to look at you. All right. Well, it seems I am once again held at the whim of my very young daughter. He looks at her. I can either trust that you are able to help us, or I can have you all killed now that you know about this place. So, tell me about yourselves.
You could try.
Don't test me, young man. Please, speak up. Tell me about yourselves.
You're a man in a position to obtain knowledge. You probably already know who we are, if you don't know us personally.
Can't say that I do, I'm afraid. Should I?
I look over to Erendor. You have that little spike handy?
Oh, just pull out the nail and leave it on the table.
He walks forward and picks it up, glances over it. What's this? What am I supposed to? Am I supposed to know what this is? Kind of holds it a bit distastefully.
I'm a bit surprised. Word hasn't gotten around.
Wait,
Or maybe the Empire's keeping things a bit closer to the chest than they should be.
Wait, you don't mean the rebel, the crowds of people chanting, talking the iconography of the nails. This, he holds it up. What's your involvement with that?
I'll just reach over and tap on the map where Skyreach was.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. You had some place in this, I take it?
Oh, there were several places. There was one on each tower and one in the middle.
Wow. It does seem that I'm standing in the midst of celebrity. Gosh, that's a ballsy thing to pull off. Although you've put me into a world of hurt now. Empire everywhere. Before they used to give us a little bit of rain, but now, gosh, I can't even look sideways without people. Red cloaks in my vision.
We wouldn't happen to still be wearing the red cloaks, would we?
No. That goes into the pack unless it needs to come in.
Well, Valania, maybe you were right. It seems that they have been resourceful. She says, look, Father, honestly, I actually didn't know about that. I was just going based on them helping me out, but no, yes, of course, absolutely. She puts 2 thumbs up and smiles like a daughter knows how to smile to her father. All right then, well, gosh, all right, well, I guess let's do it. Let's talk about it. I assume you have any idea what you're getting into? Has my daughter told you anything about this, or are we starting fresh?
Probably
Starting fresh, but we can draw inferences given information.
Dunda puts down the stool he was holding as a torch and sits upon it expectantly.
Fair enough. Well, after the incident down south, plus whatever the hell is going on up in Velnoran, things are starting to heat up around here. I'm sure you've seen yourselves. It's brought up my plans, shall we say. Need to start moving quickly. Before we get into this, I need to set a few ground rules, however. Number 1, never attempt to contact me or my daughter in public. It cannot be known that I have any involvement in sedition. General Varan has been looking for an excuse to replace me for years, honestly. I need to take any opportunity you could. 2, don't speak to anyone about what we're doing, unless they happen to be related or are a target of the plan itself, or if you have complete trust in them. And 3, don't get captured. Or if you do, ensure that you won't be able to speak or reveal any knowledge. Do you understand?
Fairly standard operating procedures.
All right. Place my trust in you. But before that, is there anything I should know about you? Or any of you?
I think at this stage we're just interested parties.
Yeah, just know we get things done.
I think that might be all you need to know.
Very well. To business then.
And we like money.
Well,
Well, the dwarf does.
fair enough. And I can arrange compensation as well, of course. I wouldn't necessarily expect you to do this for free, out of the goodwill of your heart. All right then. He goes over to the bookshelf and pulls out a few papers and a few books and things like that. And sits down, looks up at you. The kingdoms of old should never have fallen. They'd grown complacent, weak, and were unsuspecting of any threat. The Empress burned across the land like a wildfire, and before any of them began to take her seriously, it was too late. Her army was too large, and their defenses not fortified enough. I believe there is still strength in the old kingdoms. I aim to reunite them. Alone, any one of us would fall easily, but together, and with the right people leading the way, I believe that we can expel the Red Cloaks from our cities and march on Val Luminor, tearing this empire apart once and for all. But do you see the problem with this idea? As he looks around at you.
I see quite a few problems with the idea.
King Dondar's throne is made of wood.
Look at Valnoran. The smallest bit of sedition, the Empire would fall upon us immediately. So we can't just go bandying about, walking into courts and kings and kingdoms, talking about alliances. Word would get back. The Empire's eyes everywhere. Communication in and out of our keep itself, constantly being monitored. The eyes are everywhere and nowhere at once. I don't know who to trust. So this is where you would come in. You are nobodies, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as the rest of the world is concerned, hopefully. You can easily traverse the continent without anyone taking notice. You can bring my message to the right people in the right places. Here, look, let me... He stands up, walks back over to the bookshelf and grabs that wooden chest that you're looking at. Sets it down on the table, unlatches it and opens up, and inside you can see there are a bunch of like stones, rocks, kind of sitting in there. Picks one of them up. These are cute little things that I've been just slowly gathering over the past little while. He picks up another. Each one of these is a pair. Speak into one of them, and anyone holding the other will hear them, no matter how far apart you are. So what I propose is, you get to the kingdoms, deliver these stones to the right person, and I will arrange a meeting, a war council of sorts, bring everyone together, sit down once and for all, and talk about how we're going to get this bloody thing resolved. What do you think?
Do you know who the right people are?
Yes, well, he starts shuffling through the notes, pulling out a few bits of paper here and there. Tricky. It's tricky. It's difficult to know who to trust. So I have been spending a lot of my time gathering that information discreetly, where possible. I will give you what I have. Some of it's not much, but hopefully some of it is helpful. And he starts going through the list. Val Eyrie. I don't think this one will be too bad. Our two kingdoms have historically always been on fairly good terms. I believe the high priest there at the Sept is a cousin of Governor Alina. He very likely can arrange a meeting for you. Valnoran, well, I imagine they won't take much convincing, considering the current situation up there. But the tricky part is, I don't know who currently holds power up there in the turmoil. I don't know if the governor was dead or replaced. But if you can find the right person, help them stabilize the city, the region, I'm sure they would be willing to lend us aid. Valoran is another one that might be tricky. I don't know who can get you in contact with the governor. Governor Barron, I believe it is now. Word has been getting to me that the dead have been seen working again in the Borealis forest. If that is true, that's the first time in over a century, so I imagine they have a lot going on up there. It might be tough to convince them to leave that to join our cause, but see what you can do. All right.
Dundas says, did he just say the dead?
He looks over to you. Indeed. That forest was beset with evil necromancers for centuries. It wasn't until, I think, a bit over 100, maybe 200 years ago, some valiant heroes slowly and systematically took down their structure of power, and the dead were wiped out, but they've been seen again, unfortunately. At least that's the word that we're getting. It's difficult to really pin down what's actually happening, whether it's just stories or truth. This one up here, and he taps far up to the top of the map. Val Solis. Now, this may be the most challenging of them all. As you may know, it never actually fell to the Empire. They closed their docks and their gates and have been behind their walls for over a century or close to a century. I've sent agents to try and infiltrate. They've never returned. So I don't know how much help I can give you there, but if they've been able to avoid the Empire for this long, surely they have power and the forces to lend some aid. They might be just waiting for such an opportunity. Now,
so if they can shut it away for that long, it's possible they just don't care.
It is also entirely possible. I guess we'll only know once we get inside. Now, we shouldn't just consider the human kingdom of old. Glimmerforge, for example. And he nods to you, Donda. I'm not sure how versed you are with the history of your people, but Thorgar and Hilda Immel, the current stewards of the Dwarven Kingdom, they appear to be almost entirely, if not entirely, bought by the Empire. Considering the continued suffering inflicted upon your people by the Empire, there must be factions in the city that would be sympathetic to our cause. You just need to be able to get in there, find the right people, push the right levers, and potentially the dwarves could be some of our greatest allies. And lastly, lastly, the elves. I'm sure that you've been thinking about this as well. They have been conspicuously missing for the past century. Where did they go? Why did they go? If we could find that out, surely they must know more than any of us, maybe, about what's really been going on. And their fighting force, it was apparently unrivaled at the time. Their cities, as far as I'm aware, are empty and uninhabitable. Anyone that's returned have said that the cities are cursed and that you cannot stay there for more than a few days before going mad. So this could be a long shot, but we have to try. There must be some full-blooded elves around still who know where they went. I'm not sure. Any that I have heard rumors of have just gone missing, taken by the Empire or killed. But if you've heard anything, then we have to try any leads we might have. So I guess the idea is go to each of these places, find the right people, give them a stone, and I will coordinate the council. He offers to write these notes up for you so that you don't have to
say things.
Yep.
Thank you. These elven cities you speak of, where did they used to be?
Oh, the Isle of Erevan down to the south, right? He taps down on the map.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. So, essentially, travel to every corner, godforsaken corner of the world, infiltrate people who do not want to be found and infiltrated, coordinate them, and see what we can do from there. Not a small task. In fact, I would say it is probably one of the biggest tasks ever created.
A perfect size for me, says Dondar.
You almost seem to
All
say
the
that
while
with
the Empire is
excitement.
making their own maneuvers.
Yes, indeed. I know that this is going to be tricky, and it's a lot to ask, but I believe it to be our best shot.
That's a lot of traveling and not much time.
Well, it's been 100 years. It's another 100.
Hopefully not that long, but we'll see, I guess.
Is there a time restriction?
Well, difficult to say, really. With the Imperials marching on Velnoran, who knows when they will start spreading elsewhere, clamping down on all the cities across the land. I'm not privy to the Empress's plans, but yeah.
Norrin is definitely the most time-pressing one at this stage. But who knows what's happening with that. They are getting some small reinforcements at the moment, so hopefully they can hold a bit longer, especially it's hard to say with winter. Winter definitely is not a good time to fight, but it also means they're most accessible.
Indeed.
If you could hold the line there until spring, they're probably good to stabilize for a while.
Reinforcements, you say?
I'm sure you would have noticed the lack of more breakers in the bay.
Yeah, I was wondering their cause for their disappearance. So they've gone to help up in the north.
I think they've just kind of bailed out to cause as much trouble as they can.
Sounds about right. Bloody pirates.
Half rebel, half pirate. Who knows?
Yeah, well, they're very useful. I've definitely been making good use of them over the years.
Definitely puts you in a unique position with Skyreach down. You've got a stranglehold on sea transport to the capital.
Indeed. As it has been for some time. But, publicly, I support the Empire, right? I can't, unless I, let's try some subterfuge to slow things down at the docks. It's not like I can just go out there and just close things down. My head would be on the pike the next day.
For future reference would be handy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we've talked enough. Are you willing to try?
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
What if we say no?
Well, then I guess I'll just have to have you all killed, wouldn't I? You can't be knowing about this place. He smiles.
Knowing about what place?
Exactly.
Good point.
If nothing else, it'd be good to touch base with anti-Empire the Empire, the imperialist revolutionaries around. Always good to have a bolt hole and people to watch your back. What are your plans in the event that some of these places turn out to be pure loyalists?
Well, I guess we just have to take what we can get, right? Even just a few of the cities is better than nothing. I see no other way to win this war. Divided, we've got nothing against them, against the Empire. Their forces are just too strong.
What are these?
Yeah, go ahead.
What are these stones you have?
Yeah, like I said, so you take these, and he starts picking through them, pulls out 6, and passes them over. One for each location. Give to the right person, and on my end, I'll be able to discuss with them and plan.
Are there only 7 stones?
There are 12 in total in the box, so he has 6 on his side, and then he's giving you 6.
They're sending stones.
Yeah.
So no one else can listen in, even if they have a stone.
Yeah. It's like a SSH key encryption.
Okay.
You want to go to Lord of the Rings Seeing Stones with Sauron?
Right, yeah, nah. It's exactly pairs, only goes 1-to-1.
Right.
There is another option, one that I'm sure has been tried, but has to be considered.
Please,
and
go
tap
ahead.
on Val Luminor itself.
His eyes narrow a bit.
You go for the head of the snake.
Dangerous. Very dangerous.
Openly take on the Empress.
Maybe not openly.
Well,
Who would be stupid enough to try that?
Talking about an assassination.
It's a long shot, and I would imagine a shot that has been taken many times and failed, but worth considering.
well, I can honestly say I have not actually heard of any attempts, whether there have been and they have just been brushed away under the rug, or if just her defenses are too strong and no one can get close. Let's just remember, right? She's been in power for about 100 years.
Yeah.
There's something different about that woman.
How has she been alive for so long?
I have no idea. I don't know if she's an elf or some other species that lives long. From all I've heard and the few times I've seen her at ceremonies and the like, she appears to just be a young-looking girl, like human woman. But
Must be a disguise of some sort.
something. There's something off about her.
Or see, the problem here, Riv, is I've probably read a lot of the fantasy books that everyone riffs their homebrew from.
Okay.
So I have a lot of suspicions. You've already tripped me with a few.
It's a game.
I think, yeah, well, we'll see if you can figure it out.
That's out of character.
Yeah.
In character, Out of character, I'm like,
Hey, I mean, if you want to try.
Mushrooms in her drink.
Yeah.
I don't think mushrooms are gonna cut it.
Just, I'll give you this bit of advice. The eyes of the Empire. If you're trying anything close to going, near Val Luminor, just keep your eyes over your shoulder. This secretive group, people don't even know of their existence. Spies, assassins, murderers.
Run into one of them.
Oh. And you came out on the better part of that arrangement? Well, I guess clearly.
Standing here.
They did not.
Mostly intact.
That's good. Well, there's many more where that comes from. So just keep your eyes peeled.
As I said, it's a long
Eyes?
shots, but
Poor choice of phrase, perhaps.
I've heard reports of troop movements dealing with Valnoran. You're probably responsible for supplying a lot of that. Do you have any idea on positioning numbers?
Indeed, yeah. Let me just go and check the latest reports. He goes up and grabs a few more scrolls and papers and stuff like that. Well, as far as I can see, Point Blackrock has entirely been taken by the army, and they have crossed the ice bridge, and it seems like there is a struggle going on in the city at the moment for power. It does seem like there is rebellion there. There are people fighting back. As for how the war is going, I'm not sure. The initial forces that arrived numbered on, I believe, about 10,000. I don't know if there have been any additional troops. We've had scouts out, but again, it's difficult for me to really gather too much information without exposing myself as well.
A question then. You might know, we might not. How many troops, ballpark, do you think the Empire has on hand?
Does he recognize the phrase a ballpark?
The numbers question.
Yeah. Very difficult to say. Of the core force, if you're talking about the hands themselves, I believe it's not a large number, somewhere in the order of 5,000 to 10,000 hands. For reasons that I'm not particularly privy to, the number hasn't grown. Maybe it's just a strict training regiment. Maybe she intentionally keeps that force small to try and keep the most loyal people as possible. But in terms of the soldiers themselves, could be hundreds of thousands. I don't know.
You said there's fighting in the city itself, which means we're probably dealing more with an insurgency rather than a siege situation.
Yeah, indeed. That was my take as well.
Messy.
Yeah.
Do you have a call sign? How, with the use of these stones, how will you verify that whoever is speaking is who they say they are?
It's a good question. So what I was intending on doing was just keeping them with me in the late evening for a couple of hours and just waiting to hear if anyone contacts me, and then trying again the next day. So I guess that would be your window of opportunity for someone to try and contact me, because I won't have them on me at all times. In terms of call sign, a code word, yes, that's probably not a bad idea, actually. Just so that we can ensure that we know. Well, would you like to suggest something?
Not swordfish.
I don't know what that means, but fair enough.
Let's make the code word Lenny.
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 Why not?
Lenny.
Lenny it is.
Lenny the Green. That phrase is spoken. You should know it as someone you can.
Why don't we say that you ask for Lenny, and we'll take that to mean myself.
Right.
All right.
Someone
Excellent.
writes that down because we're totally going to forget that.
At this point, Valania comes forward. Well, this is all very interesting, I guess. In terms of if you want to contact us back in the city, My room is just up there at the top of the keep. I look out over top of the graveyard. If you light 3 of the torches on top of the tomb, the one that I led you through, I'll keep an eye out in the evening, and I'll take that as a signal to know that I will come down and bring you in the next evening. But as we've mentioned, don't let anyone see you come into the graveyard. You were never here. And we'll try to keep it that way for everyone's safety.
Those guards at the gate make it a bit inconvenient.
Wow. I'm afraid that we don't have a lot of control over that. It would be suspicious if we told them to move on. They're not exactly under our control, right? They answer to the general.
Yeah. Do you have another way out of the keep that doesn't involve the graveyard?
It's the best route and the most secure because only a member of my family is able to open it. The only other way would be up through and into the keep itself proper, but that would just bring risk of anyone else seeing you.
Fair.
Well, I guess it's getting late. Got a lot to think on. Unless there's any other final questions, shall we call it, for the night?
Sure. I would raise hand. Are there any?
Breaking up, Lesser.
Are there any other groups you are working with to achieve?
There are not. No, I've been struggling to find people that I'm able to trust. I've considered going to the Ravens, but they have their own agenda. And I'm always a little bit suspicious that the eyes are close to what they're doing, keeping an eye on things. So I thought that might just be too much risk.
Hang on. So you want us to go around and make all these resistance contacts, yet you have no contacts?
My hands are tied. Well, what am I supposed to do? I'm a figurehead. If I speak out against the Empire, my head disappears and they replace me the next day.
That is not what I asked.
Contacts? Contacts with who? With other rebellion sympathizers? How would I possibly find a rebellion sympathizer?
Well, you're asking us to go and find sympathizers for you. I thought you'd already have some sort of a network started.
It's very tricky. I've given you the information I can, but like I said, a lot of these places themselves are already in their own turmoil. It's difficult, really, to nail down a specific contact that can, be the right.
You're asking us to help appoint you as the leader of the resistance.
Not necessarily. The resistance doesn't need a leader. This is just a way to organize the resistance, to get some structure to it. At the moment, the crowds out there, the unrest that is growing, it's disorganized, it's dysfunctional, it's not going to achieve anything. It's only going to cause people to die.
Maybe we should ask for John Connor instead.
John Connor. Doesn't ring a bell.
Sarah?
Oh my god.
That's terminated.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I had to follow up.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Well, it's better than just blowing up a random keep every now and again.
I hope so.
That said, that never hurts either.
Just be careful that the right people are inside it. Well, I guess better time to call it. If there's any other final questions or concerns, now's the time. Otherwise, well, I guess you can use one of these stones if you want to contact me. Use the word Lenny, and I'll know it's you. But until then, I guess good luck. And I don't know what for the resistance. What? That doesn't sound right. No, forget I said anything. He stands up stiffly, looks a bit sheepish, nods, and starts to head out.
For Lenny.
As he
Not yet.
As the door closes behind him, Valania just says, "Well, that went better than I thought it was going to go. Honestly, he only threatened to kill you once, I think. Well,
Almost twice.
yeah, that's about on par. Well, I guess sorry for getting you caught up on this, or maybe I'm excited that you did, depending on how you're feeling. But yeah." Like I said,
Not a lot to work with, but we didn't have much to start in the beginning, so...
well, like I said, you know how to contact me, and yeah,
Do you need to let us out?
I do. Cool. She will lead you out. All right. So I assume you guys are all good. No final stuff.
I'll put the sending stones in the bag of holding.
Nice. Cool.
Not an ideal arrangement, but sure.
We have a bag of holding. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Who's holding it? You are.
I think so, yep.
Yeah, I'm not.
But bag of holding is generally just kind of a group holding.
Yeah. Party loot. All right. So she leads you back down the tunnel again. Easy enough up through the tomb and out into the open. She stands at the doorway and just says farewell as you head out and bids you luck. With a little smile and a wave, and she heads back inside, and the stone door grinds closed behind her, leaving you back out into the open graveyard. Plan for how do you want to get out? Do you want to just sort of hand wave it, or do you want to chuck on the what's the idea? Do you reckon?
Well,
It's probably like
if we
12 o'clock or something.
we should strut out.
Leave the way we came.
Yeah.
Cool.
Be unusual enough for red cloaks to enter the graveyard, and more unusual not to exit.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Cloak on. You head out towards the gate, and hearing the footsteps, the guards sort of turn and don't really look at you. Just open it. You walk through. Again, they're not looking at you. Eyes straight forward, and you pass them through. No problem. They did see you come in, for whatever that is worth, and you're out of there, heading back along the street. I assume back to River's Watch.
Yeah, I guess so.
Cool. All right. You arrive. It's late. People have already sort of packed up the bar and the tavern. You can head to your rooms. And is there any sort of, now that you're away and alone, would you like to have any conversations?
Yeah, let's have a debrief, a quick debrief in one of the rooms.
One of the rooms?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, either room. Doesn't matter whose room.
Yeah, you're just breaking up a bit again.
Well, wasn't a lot to work with, but we didn't have much to start to begin with.
Hang on a sec. Detect magic. Anything in the room that's pinging you off that wasn't before?
No, you're good. The only new thing would be the sending stones, although you actually wouldn't see them because they're inside the bag. So yeah, no, you're all good.
Hey, we could close the window this time.
True.
What the hell? All my tabs. Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry.
Maybe you should pay your tabs.
All right, cool. Well, take a rest. We go to sleep.
I would like to make some good berries before I go to bed.
Cool.
So, was her name Nia, or was it something longer?
Well, she introduced herself as Nia, but from the conversation and what her father had called her full name is Valania.
Valania.
Vallania.
Vale names seem to be popular in this world.
Yes, the bridge in the middle of the city is called Valina's Bridge.
Hi, while I'm thinking of it, why did you try to kill the old man?
Oh, you talking to me?
Yes.
I wasn't trying to kill. It was make him a little bit sick. I'm sure one little bit of poison mushroom won't kill him off.
He was nearly 100 years old.
He was with the ravens.
Didn't know that.
Oh, he told us at the end.
You nearly killed my father.
Your
Don't
father?
you ever make that mistake again.
Yes, kill him properly next time.
I will. I'll try not to. I'm very sorry. But then again, how did you not recognize your father? He was right in front of you the whole time.
It's been over 20 years.
But longer, I think, actually.
His
It's probably been more like 40 or 50.
40?
Yeah, something like that.
It's been a long fucking time. He's gotten old. And I haven't.
Well, I'll try not.
You don't look 50 years old. What the hell?
In half elf years, 50 years is not that long, is it? It's long, but not that long.
Nah, he's probably not even middle-aged.
Oh man, I shouldn't talk.
An elven hand cream.
Alrighty. You can take a rest and see what the day brings.
Well, seriously though, are we just gonna, if we're gonna set out on this right away, are we just gonna pick a city and go? What do we want to
do? Honestly, looking at it, it's a bit of a to use gaming parlance. This is like your main end game meta quest.
I mean, I pull out the world map and I'm like, so we're here, we're in Valmuriel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So he wants us to go up
Everywhere.
there. What, Valan, did he say?
Valoran, which is north of...
Valoran wants to go to that island all the way at the top, wants us to go to the mountains over to the west.
Mm-hmm. We're going everywhere.
I mean, it's going to take forever on horses and shit to get around.
It's probably going to be 6 months or so, yeah.
That's just horses. We can probably ship a bit of it if we need to. But yeah, it's not something we're just going to set out and immediately do. It'll be something we will work our way through.
Yeah. So I guess taking off the, I did have a couple more things I actually wanted to do tonight, but I think things are getting a bit late now, so I'm kind of leaning towards closing now. Unless you guys want to go a bit longer, up to you. But yeah, so I guess out of game, essentially, I wanted to open up the world and let you guys just choose to go wherever you want. Rails are off now. The first part of this campaign has been very much on a rail track, and now it's kind of like, do whatever you guys want to do. Go somewhere. There'll be stuff to do along the way. If you want to explore, go and explore. There's a bunch of stuff now that you already know about, right? You've got the gold mine. You've got Jarek's request to try and investigate the dungeons of Val Luminor. You've got the insurrection happening in Val Norin. You've got the obviously the big main quest to go and get the rebellion going. You've got questions about the elves. There's all sorts of things you can go and do. So yeah, I'm kind of just leaving it up to you guys.
Time for indecision paralysis.
Yeah, exactly.
But we've got a little bit in the local area.
Yeah, I think we finish the mine job first, and then figure out what to do after.
Resources. The only one that may or may not be on a quote-unquote time is Valnoran, because it's... Well, even it's not really on a time, because it's an insurrection now, and those can go on further.
Yeah.
It's winter
But there
now.
is probably, like, a seasonal thing we probably want to look it up there, because it's winter now. If we can clear it before spring, then they should be relatively safe for another 6 months.
That's it. That's the right thinking, yeah. The bridge is there at the moment. If the city can be retaken by the time the bridge melts, then it'll be extremely difficult for the city to get taken again.
And from there, we can probably ship out to close to wherever we want to start pushing things.
Sounds like a plan.
And we've already got some contact up there, maybe, because that's where the Moorbreakers were kind of headed, or some of them.
Correct.
It's more contact than we've got anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say local area. My initial thinking would be Nyren, but open to alternatives.
I clearly have not been paying enough attention. I couldn't name any of those options.
You got the map open, eh?
Completely forgot which way the Moorbreakers went.
They went north.
I saw you tapping around. I mean,
Moorbreakers generally scattered, but I think the last we were talking with Barak, they were heading towards Valnoran to see what they could do to assist.
Yeah.
I just meant I didn't know these other quest options.
Yeah.
Just
couldn't remember them.
Right, we got notes. If you go into your notes letters, we got an entire plan. All basic.
They're shared? When did those get shared?
Since day one, since we got the captain's letter.
What? I knew we had notes. I didn't know there were notes not written by us as individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah. I was hoping to get to a couple of other little bits and pieces so that we weren't just sort of talking the whole night, but I guess that's what it is. We always end up having shenanigans. People trying to murder each other's fathers.
I didn't know. I didn't know at the
time. So yeah, I think it's probably starting to get a bit too late now. So I reckon we call it here. Starting to get a bit tired. So, and then it gives you opportunity to have a think, and you guys can chat as well where you want to start heading next. And we go. Maybe just also give me a heads up so that I don't have to build the entire world just in case you pick somewhere that I wasn't expecting.
I'm going west, then north, and then south.
Really quick.
You're going straight to...
Here, if everyone wants to open the calendar, when's everyone probably free next?
What is next weekend? I think I'm probably... it's my birthday weekend next weekend, but...
Oh, happy birthday, dude.
I never really do anything for my birthday, so I wouldn't mind playing.
D&D birthday!
Yeah.
Next weekend, JC's out next
Yeah,
weekend.
it's Mum's birthday. I'm going to spend the weekend with her.
Nice. Good.
Well, I haven't booked anything.